often comes up, why shipping containers? You know, how did you get into container homes? It's definitely a different type of field, and I'd love to share with you a little bit of that backstory. So back in 2016, I was in a season where I was really trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I had originally went to school for theology. At the time, I was involved in ministry at my home church, doing youth ministry, and I loved doing that, and it was certainly a passion of mine. But at the same time, I got bit by the business bug, and there was something in me that just really wanted to build something and to create a business. And so for the next 6 months, all I was doing was thinking of ideas, trying to come up with a business idea. And in that process, I went through everything from a mobile fueling company to a dating app, but eventually I landed on containers. And one of the reasons I chose containers was because it seemed to be a real solution to a real problem. And that problem is affordable housing. You know, we live in a time where housing is extremely expensive, and there really is a need for more affordable options. And what I liked about shipping containers was, number one, they were already a really small footprint, so naturally it's not going to cost as much to build out. And then number two was the fact that they're basically just a box. So how complicated can it really be to build something out? And so it seemed like something that I could do myself, and it was with that I ended up starting my first container build project. Now this story is pretty crazy. I remember visiting my parents one night, and in my backyard, in my parents' backyard, my dad had built my sister a tree house. And the thing looked great. I actually thought I could live in it. It looked really nice. And I asked my dad how much it cost him to build, and he actually said it was only $1,000. And it was in that moment that I thought to myself, man, I'm spending $1,000 on my rent every single month, and I share an apartment with someone. And so I just thought, man, there has to be a better option out there for people to have a home that they can live in that isn't going to cost them $1,000 a month for 30 years. And so that's when my brain got spinning, and I started thinking about what it could look like to create smaller housing. It was the next morning that I was at home. I had the day off, and I went on my computer. I was on Craigslist, and a couple days previous to that, I had seen some really cool container offices inside an industrial complex. They were really modern, really unique, really clean. They converted them into some office spaces, and I was inspired, and I thought, man, what would it be like to try to convert that into the small home? And so I was on Craigslist that day, and I ended up finding basically a container that was $3,900. But I only had, previous to that, $3,500 in my bank account. What's crazy is that night before, my mom just felt intuition. She really felt like, I'm supposed to give you $500. She never has done this in my life, mind you, right? I'm 32 years old. It's only happened one time, and it was that night. And she gave me an envelope, and she didn't tell me it was $500, but she said, you have to take this. And I remember I took the envelope, and I saw that it was $500, and I said, I'm not taking your money. I'm working 2 jobs. I don't need your money. And she wouldn't let me not take it. And so I took the money, and it was that next day I found that container for $3,900. I ended up going to that person's house, and I offered him $3,500, right? And he didn't take it, and I didn't take it. And I left, and I went home, and a few hours later he called me, and he said, hey, I have someone coming here that's gonna be purchasing it for full price, but I really like the idea that you had, how you were gonna turn it into a tiny home, and I wanna sell it to you, and I'll sell it to you for that same price if you can get here before him. I ran to my Wells Fargo account, drew everything out of my account, I went to the guy's house, I bought that first container. This is back in like May of 2016, and that is where the journey of starting a container home company began. When I built that first shipping container home, like I had mentioned previously, I had no construction experience. My dad has a background in construction. He has a landscape construction company, and he's had it for over 30 years, but he also built our homes. So he was the person that I was able to lean on in that journey and get advice and get insight on how to build it out myself. And man, fast forward to 2017, May, it took me a year to build that one 20-foot shipping container out. I had finished that first container, and it was always my intention to build this as a business. So the goal was to build this first container and then to sell it. And I connected with one of my good friends, Omar, that came by. He made a really nice video of that container home. We posted it up on YouTube. I launched the website the day before, and then that video went viral. Ended up getting over 2 million views, and leads started pouring in like crazy to the website. I had no team, no building, no nothing, just a laptop in my parents' home or in my apartment at that time, and started to try to talk and have conversations with people to see if they'd be interested in having us build more container homes for them. People will often ask me, how did you come up with the name Alternative Living Spaces? They think it's a really unique name, maybe a really cool name, and I can't take any credit for it. You know, it's a funny story as well. I was at work one day, I was working a moving job for my uncle's company, and I had been working there for about 2 years, and the manager came in one day and he said, "Hey Tony, I had a dream about you last night." And I was like, "Really? What was this dream that you had?" And he said, "You weren't working here anymore, and in my dream you actually came back and you had a polo on. You actually had your own company, and on the polo it said Alternative Living Spaces." That is a true story, ladies and gentlemen. And so I remember he told me that story, and I thought, man, that sounds like a really cool name. And at that time I was in the middle of building my first container home, and so we named the company Alternative Living Spaces. Fast forward to 2022, summer of 2022. Since our launch, we've completed over 100 shipping container homes. We've shipped stuff all over the U.S., to Hawaii, to the East Coast. It's been an amazing journey, and it's been really a great learning journey as well. I got to encourage you, that those of you that you have a unique idea, you have a business idea, and you want to start something, it all starts with that leap. It's that first part to just kind of take that leap. And for me, that first part was basically buying the shipping container. I drained my bank account and gave it a shot, and I could have failed, and things aren't guaranteed to be success even in the future, but it was a great opportunity. And I love a quote that I've heard from someone before, and it's, anything great in life that you want to accomplish or achieve, it's going to be outside of your comfort zone. And so when you're looking to start a company or a business, it's the same thing that applies. It's going to be outside of what's comfortable to you, but it's in taking that leap and just putting yourself all in, that you'll figure it out. Like, we're smart, we're humans, we'll figure it out. I encourage you to take that leap. With that, I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about my story, about the story of Alternative Living Spaces, and our journey to how we are where we are today. I hope it was encouraging to you, inspiring to you, encourage you to chase your dreams. And just a little reminder, in the link below, we do have that free video training if you're interested in checking that out. It's really geared to people that are looking to build a container home. If you're in that category, it's going to really bless you. I'd encourage you to check that out. If you want to learn more about us and what we do, you can check us out online or on social media at Alternative Living Spaces. We specialize really in container housing. And so if you have questions, if you're interested in a container home yourself, please reach out. We'd love to connect with you, and we'll see you in the next video.